how was the break for you guys to refresh after, three losses?
Yeah, look, it was a great time to obviously get a bit of a reset. 4 days away was fantastic. It's a slightly different break for us, obviously on a 9-day turnaround into our next game. But, you could just see the energy in the playing group when we came back. There was certainly a real vibe around the group and the coaching staff after having, 4 days away from the club. So it was good to have a break, get away, refresh, reset ourselves and come back and look forward to the game against Brisbane.
Was Saturday the first session back for you guys? And is it just all football talk? And obviously we can't, ignore the Stephen May Melksham stuff. Has that been put to bed? How have you addressed it with the players and what was said? And
Yeah, well, that was put to bed the week before, before we left, heading into the Collingwood game. That was a pretty big week for us as a footy club, and, all the situation between Steve and Jake and, what we wanted to learn from that situation was really put to bed. So it was a chance once we come back, it is just fully, a footy focus and making sure we're really looking at how we get better as a footy team, how we get better as a footy club and how we produce our best footy moving forward. And that's been our challenge, to really look at that and make sure we come up with some clear solutions. And, we're looking forward to attacking the second half of the year.
Simon, did you take 4 days off to take a bit of time, relax, or for you was it about solving a couple of problems, namely being without your skipper, one of your most important players for a little bit of time?
It's always a combination when you're coaching, but for me it was as much as anyone, like the players, get away mentally away from the game. I went on a surfing trip and a couple of days off grid and get your thoughts and reflections and just be a normal person in society that has a bit of time away from a really intense industry. And I think that's really important for myself as a coach, to make sure my energy is at the level that's required to bring a really good group of players together to perform well.
Simon, you're first in the AFL at the moment for kicking down the line, and you're currently ranked last for switching the ball across the ground, and it sort of led to a few people labelling you guys a bit boring and a bit predictable. Do you believe any of those claims are valid?
No, not really. No, we're pretty clear on the way that we want to play. We've lost 3 games in a row, but we do know our method stacks up, and it has stacked up for a period of time. There's things that we can do within our game to change the way that looks and make sure we're a little bit more efficient in the way we play. But we need to get back to being really strong in our foundations of our game, and the role execution has been off in the last few weeks. So building some cohesion with our playing group again and getting the players back into their key positions will be really important for us. And I don't believe that we're a boring side. I think we've certainly got growth in a lot of areas to get better at, but we play a certain way and we'll back that in.
Is Stephen May definitely back, Simon? And what's he going to mean to that, sort of what you were just mentioning about sort of structuring up and with players back in their best positions?
Yeah, look, obviously we haven't had much cohesion in the back half of the ground in the last month. We've had a variety of guys out for a variety of different reasons, and to get that core back 6 or 7 together consistently is going to be something that's really important to us, and Stephen's a big part of that. He's an outstanding player and he'll come back in. He's trained outstandingly well. He's really keen on building the trust back with the playing group and putting his best performances on field and leading like he does on field to a really high level. So it's going to be great to get that group back together.
It must fill you with confidence, Simon, when you can turn to Luke Jackson, not young, but a guy who's already shown that he can stand up when required. So what's the expectation on him, and is there an opportunity to do you think about bringing in another ruckman? Is Majak a possibility or probably not?
I think it's an enormous opportunity for Luke to really step up. We've seen what he's capable of in a range of different situations, but to take that mantle as the number 1 ruckman will be really important, and his ability to really step up and do it a different way. Max is a pure tap ruckman. Luke's slightly different and gives us a different look at ground level. So we're looking forward to seeing what that looks like. But who's going to support him? We'll still work through that in the next few days. Majak won't be available. He's got a partial pec tear that he did a couple of weeks ago. So he's probably 4 weeks away from being back available to play. So we'll have to be a little bit adaptive in that space and come up with a clear plan. But something we're looking forward to.
What does Sam Wiedemann need to do, obviously with, no Gawn, no McDonald, tall timber sort of a bit thin at the moment? What are his chances and what does he need to do to get his way back into the side?
Yeah, look, his form's been building in the last few weeks and he's one of those options that we'll look at today to come in and support Luke, whether that be as a forward or second ruck. So his form has been progressing. He's putting in a lot of work in terms of his game, and The thing that we've spoken to Sam about is not to build that frustration. He's had a process in place for the last 6 months and he's made some progression, certainly around his game, but it hasn't quite come out on game day yet. But we're really confident that Sam's game will go to a new level very shortly.
Simon, has Glenn Bartlett's claims been a distraction at all? And how does some of those accusations of bullying, gambling, harassment, how do they sit with you?
I spoke about this last week. They're completely irrelevant to me. The club put out a really strong statement about what they thought of all those claims. I know who I am. There are no behavioural issues on my behalf, and for me, I haven't really thought about it in the last 18 months. We've moved forward as a footy club. It's not a distraction from a player's perspective, and for me personally. So we just keep moving forward.
Simon, did you instruct your players, or did the club instruct the players to? You obviously went away on your surfing trip to get away, sort of thing. Were there any parameters as to what your players or the staff, your coach, do during to get away?
Oh, no, as I said, we had a 9-day break, so it was pretty limited in what we could do. We had 4 days off and we had to come back ready to go. So a few guys travelled interstate, a lot of guys stayed here, but most of the time players got away mentally away from the game and did some things that they love to do in life and some of the passions that they have in life. So it was really about a chance to really reset yourself, get away, mentally freshen up and come back ready to go.
How do you assess rounds performance, Simon? Like it's 2 goals in the last 4 weeks. Both of those goals were against Collingwood. Is his sort of form issues more symptomatic up the ground, or is he not sort of doing enough to get himself into position to kick goals?
I thought his game on the weekend was a big step forward, Brownie. I thought he was really close to being a dominant player in the game. In the Queen's birthday game, he got his hands to a lot of contests. He kicked 2 goals too, and one was a snap at the end where he probably could have kicked 3 if he had a bit more time on the clock. So, his form progressed strongly last week, and I don't think it's too far away from being in some really good form.
Simon, how's Jack Melksham's hands from training with the glove on Saturday? Is he available for selection at either level this weekend?
Yeah, he's available for selection. He trained really strongly on Saturday. So he obviously had to have that hand flushed a couple of times from the infection, but he's done a fair bit of work in the last sort of 6 or 7 days and he'll be ready to go.
Where did you get the surfing board out and did you get any decent waves?
I went to Noosa, but went a bit further around to Double Island and Rainbow Beach. So it was a great experience. Got a mentor that lives up there and spent a bit of time with him, and just to get away in the nature and spend some time on the board was great. I'm not that flash, so I'm improving my skills slowly.